Y'all is Tony Playboy.
We are going to get into a update on the Deshaun Watson case. We've seen all the messages that we are getting. A lot of things are moving quickly on this case, but we finally feel like it's a good time to break down a lot of the major changes in the case.
Yeah, a lot more of the story has come out. You know, we tried not to comment too much until we have what we feel is a good portion of the truth. And until the actual civil trials start, this is as much as we're going to get. So I'm going to run you through a kind of quick list of updates, get your reaction to some of these things, get your takes, etc. So the first thing is the case now has a face. A couple of women made statements, including one on camera who goes by the name of Ashley Solis. She said, quote, "I got into massage therapy to heal people, to heal their minds and their bodies, to bring peace to their souls. Deshaun Watson has robbed me of that. He took that away from me. He tainted a profession in which I take enormous pride. I suffer from panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. I'm in counseling as a result of Deshaun Watson's action. I hope he knows how much pain he's inflicted on me emotionally and physically, and I hope he knows how much pain he's inflicted on these other survivors." End quote. But also, people say I'm doing this just for money. That is false. I come forward now so that Deshaun Watson does not assault another woman. So in addition to it having a face, the number of cases against him is now up to 22 civil cases that have been filed. Ironically, 18 different women have signed statements in support of Deshaun Watson. Supposedly, these are other massage therapists who have worked for Deshaun over 100 times in the past year.
Man, I want to talk about that.
I felt you might.
Oh, I want to talk about that because, God, that seems so tone deaf. Like, the idea that you did not assault this group of women means that you have obviously never assaulted any women is both a logical fallacy, but also a very dangerous one that is sad to see that's what your defense team came up with. Like, how much do you pay these dudes?
I'm assuming 6 figures, but I think...
Let me finish, because then I thought that, and then I saw the comments on all these things, and people are legitimately being like, these 18 women came forward. There's no way Deshaun Watson could have done this. And then I was shocked. I was like, oh, this has worked for a larger sample size of the population than I literally thought was possible. And maybe I'm the stupid one.
That's what I was going to say. So there's 2 things to point out here. The first is this is a civil case, or we'll get to at least this part is a civil case. And so the burden of proof is much lower. They call it the quote unquote, the preponderance of evidence, i.e. think of it as you only got to prove 51% of the truth, that it's more likely to happen than it didn't, versus criminal, it's always beyond a reasonable doubt, which is you got to basically lock it up like 95% chance they did it. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is in that kind of case of a civil case where it's preponderance of evidence, the character witnesses can be a huge sway, not just for the outcome of whether or not the jury thinks he did it, because like you just said, a lot of people do think these things work. If they're like, oh, you got 22 who say you bad and I got 18 who say you good, well, I don't know. So you might not be bad. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is it does work, and that in these kind of cases, that will also make an impact on if he is found to be culpable of any damages. So if they think that he may have done it, but you know, it was something, I don't know how the jury's going to think. I'm not going to be on that jury, but that could be a huge factor as well.
Interesting. One of these 18 women has some controversy surrounding her now. Apparently, there were some leaked Instagram messages and text messages of hers that seemed to say that she knew Deshaun Watson was actually doing things that he was not supposed to do to these women, and his name was getting around. Mm-hmm. And she has defended herself. She has defended her statements that he has not changed, and says that these comments are actually linked to another massage therapist he worked with who leaked his phone number on IG. And she was actually saying you need to be careful of those people, not these people need to be careful of Deshaun Watson. Now, we don't know the truth behind any of this. And of course, like, we hope everybody gets justice. If justice needs to be served to these women, then we hope they get it. But if justice needs to be served to Deshaun, we too hope he gets it. And I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth dirty play on these people's names now that they have come out.
Well, for months.
Yes.
This is going to go on for a long time.
Like the people that were just like, I can't understand why all these women want to be Jane Does and they don't want to come out and list their names. Less than 24 hours after Ashley's, what her last name is Solis came out and as basically the public face, she gave a video impact statement of these allegations. She has started getting harassment, threats all over social media, etc. And you see that it is really not safe for victims of domestic violence, especially against high-profile athletes.
I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you. It's not safe for women.
Sexual assault, yes.
It's not safe for women, period. I don't care what they've done. Men online are crazy. There are, for example, we both went to UT Dallas.
Yes.
At one big nerd school, people love their video games, their anime, etc. One point we had a speaker coming through, a female gamer, right, who was going to come to the campus and speak. And people who are into this story, they know her name, etc. It's not important for this. There were so many threats online of, I'm going to kill you if you come and say this, I'm going to shoot you. They canceled the event. So this is not survivors of sexual assault or domestic violence. No. This is women are not safe online. Y'all need to stop being like this. You can't just threat. I mean, we know people are ratchet on social media anyways, but men attacking women is almost always too far. And not to mention, like, if you talk to any of your female friends who maybe are single and dating and on Tinder, just the things that guys who are or think they're being nice say are wild.
That is actually one of my favorite things. Is that I just want to see the screenshot of what this dude did and
because it's almost always wild.
Yeah, how did you garner up the nerve to say this, and why did you think it would work?
So that's why I'm like, nah. People online are crazy. Period, and women are not safe online. Period. So let's continue though. Right, I got more updates for you.
Okay.
So the Houston Police Department has also said they've opened an investigation into Watson. They won't say what it's about, but we not dumb. There's that. The NFL has also opened an investigation, and it's likely that Deshaun will be placed on the commissioner's exempt list soon.
It still bothers me, even though I'm not like put Deshaun Watson on the commissioner's exempt list. It bothers me that he is not on the commissioner's exempt list just because of what happened. Pinnacle episode. He did what for a knockoff Richard Milley, right? Quentin Dunbar and
it's not important.
Quentin Dunbar is the one that ended up getting put on the commissioner's exempt list after these charges became public.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only understanding I can get for this is the difference between a civil and criminal charge investigation actually happening. Could explain the delay in the NFL action and the fact that things were only civil up until recently. But it is surprising how quickly someone like Dunbar, who is not a star, landed on that list versus someone like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, this is not official, but as someone who's followed the NFL and their actions with this over the past 7-8 years or whatever, I think these cases will take a long time to play out. And if it does, I don't think Deshaun plays this season. It's totally possible.
Okay.
We're not talking about it, but all the trade rumors for him have stopped. We're just focused now on the case.
It is hard to try to give up a haul for that guy. Houston should have pulled.
They should have sold it. They should have been like, whoever offered last, I'm sending him your way. They're looking real bad on this. I think he needs to move out of Houston no matter what now. Whether or not they get anything for him, whether or not he's cut, traded, whatever. He's got to move out of Houston for a lot of reasons. The next kind of big thing is he's losing money over this. A lot of money. A lot of money.
Yes.
So there's been a lot of stories come out about his different endorsement deals this past week. I think I have a pretty comprehensive set of what his deals are and what ones are suspended and or terminated. So Nike has suspended the relationship with Deshaun Watson. So not done yet. I think Nike's kind of waiting to see how this plays out.
You get no more bread from us until we find out how the law feels about this.
Now, Beats by Dre has terminated their contract with Deshaun Watson as a client or someone who endorses their product. So those are the kind of big two. The next set are a couple who had deals with him that were expired and possibly were going to work out future deals, but both the energy company Reliant and the Texas grocery store chain H-E-B both said that their expiring deals will not be renewed with him. And there are some other endorsements that kind of we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. So his other deals include deals with Rolex. So I don't know about that one. I think they're a little bit more slow to act. I think that will eventually drop though. And then Deshaun also is a partner in a cheesesteak restaurant called Lefty's near NRG Stadium in Houston. And so those are probably the other shoes to drop here in the next few weeks to months.
Okay. Did you know that Ashley Solis was actually the defendant that was offering a settlement before they brought the case public and actually filed it?
Yes. That was the other two things. So there was the offer before the public case. And we talked about that, I think, a little bit the first time we did this story about a month ago. Because Deshaun made a statement about them coming to him first.
For $100K.
Before we knew there were 21 other women.
Yes.
And the second thing is, I believe, at least, and the police are investigating, but I think at least one woman has gone to the police and filed charges. I just don't think it's official in public yet, but I believe that is the case.
Okay. I just want to be clear that her lawyers have not denied this settlement request was made. And in fact, they're just saying that the existence of this settlement request in no way means that we are lying, that she is not telling the truth, and that our case is not valid, which is something that is A, true, and B, needs to be kept in mind as we continue to hear these proceedings develop and play out.
Yeah, it's important to think about this in a legal context, not a social context, because it's not, the lawyers in this are operating on the legal context and what's normal for them. And going to someone for a settlement offer before it goes public is totally normal. And we should all reserve judgment until we hear more information.
All right, fact.
The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod.
We want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to listen to this video. Did you know that this video is part of a larger Fly Route podcast? Look us up wherever you watch podcasts. We are on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Take the time, subscribe. We appreciate you.
While we have you here, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Otherwise, you will miss some of our YouTube videos. That's just the way YouTube works. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Fly Route Pod.